still trying to see who liked our post. Okay, so in order to do that, we have to create a link to a different page right here so that this is clickable. One person liked this post and somebody can click there. So what we do is we create an A tag. So I'm going to go to my post.php, the one that shows that displays the post itself, and then I'm going to create an A tag right where it says one person liked this post or something else, since all of this should be clickable inside this whole if statement fiasco. So I'm going to put the A tag up here. I'm going to say href is equal to, and put the small parentheses there. Now we're going to create a page called likes. Now we already have a page called like, because like is like the doing action, but likes is the actual likes themselves. So we're going to have another page called likes, which will contain who liked your page. So we're going to say likes.php, that's our link, and then we have to give it a little bit of information because it has to know which post we're trying to check. So the first thing we have to say is type. We have to give it a type. The type is post so that it knows which table to check from, and then we're going to say id is equal to, now we need to give it the id of the actual post. So at this point here we want to echo out the post id. So without those commas there, we'll say post id, something like so. So we don't put the inverted commas because we are inside double quotes, like so. And of course we need to close the A tag at the bottom. So after this if statement, it goes over there and there, so we put it down here, right? So at this point we are closing our A tag like so. So refresh the page, and there you see that now it's clickable. It's a clickable link, but of course it will take us nowhere. So in order to rectify that problem, we need to create a page. Now we already have the delete page, and it's kind of a template of what I want to if I go to my own profile here and click on delete, so there's an error there that I didn't take into account. So it's saying unidentified variable image class. So this is what happens when you try to delete a post with an image, or is it? Let me click delete. Still a problem. So post delete. So let's see what that error is all about. So let's go to post delete, open that up, and let's say on line 15 image blah 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 blah. Okay, so line 15 is over here. So what is unidentified here? Image class is unknown. Okay, that's because the image class, so let's make sure we create it over here. So it's good to instantiate classes just before you use them, so my bad. So I'm going to say image class is equal to new capital image, like so. All right, so instantiated we have, and there we go. So everything is back to normal. So this is the thing I want, this black this white box over here, and the fact that I already have a lot of things on this post delete. Okay, there we go. On the delete page itself, actually, so I'm simply going to copy that delete page. It's delete.php, but I'm going to copy and paste it right here and convert it to likes.php, and then I will open likes.php. Now the nice thing of copying is that it has all these things that I need, and so I don't need to struggle. That is okay. So what I will do is, because we are not going to be posting anything, so if something is posted, definitely must go We are simply going to see who the user is, so that part is not required. And then we change the title to likes, or we can say people who like, something like so. And then over here we are not going to be okay, so the ID, we might want to keep those things because we want to be able to read who liked the post itself. Now there are two things we can do here. We can simply create a class that gets the likes, okay, where we can put all that liking stuff and so on and so forth. That's one option. Or we can put the code right here if we want to. Okay, so what we will do is to simplify the process, we're going to put the code right here. So we will remove all this. Now instead of post delete here, we want to include something else. So I'm going to simply remove everything in the PHP tags down here, like so. And we don't actually need a form as well, so the form as well will go. We just need that box. That's it. And up here, what else can go? We need to know if ID is set or not, so we'll delete everything in here and just leave that one there. So if it's not set, we're going to say no data was found, or no information was found, something like that. So the ID must be set because we want to know which post we are trying to see who liked. And not only ID should be set, what should be set also is the type. So we're going to put an and copy that, and instead of that we're going to say type. So that should be set as well. Okay. And we don't need this post because we are not reading any posts here, so we don't need to instantiate the post class over there. So delete that as well. And I think we are good to go. So let me refresh the page and see if it actually works. So let's go here where it says you and one other liked this post and click. And we make sure that we are getting no errors, and so everything is good. So all we need to know now is who liked the post. Okay, now in the interest of keeping this OOP or object oriented, we are going to go to the post here, post class itself, and just make a function called getLikes. So we will say public function getLikes, and the likes we want are from a ID. We will need an ID and we will need a type. So type and ID, something like that. Okay, so we need to know the ID and the type, and that's it. And then we return the array that contains that data. Simple and straightforward. So we can use whatever we have right here. So first of all, there we go. So the first thing we need is we need to know if the type is post. There we go. So if the type is equal to post, so far that's all we have. Then let's check. So if it's equal to post, of course we'll instantiate our DB and we'll copy all this up to where it says likes is equal to, up to there. That's all we need. And so let me go back here. All right, there we go. Now the DB can obviously be instantiated at the top here so that we don't have to repeat it in a different if statement. So we can do it at the top there, like so. And then we change our comment to get like details. And so we are reading from the database where the type is post and the content ID is equal to ID, like so. result, let's read. Now if the result is an array, now we need to close this tag right here. So let me close that here. So once we read, then we decode and create an array like this. So this likes is equal to that. So instead of the next line we need to do is simply say return likes, like so, and that's it. Now if nothing works out here, we'll return false at the beginning. So let's put the return false at the very bottom, so that if all fails, if nothing happens, we return false. And that's as simple as it is. So get likes is the function in the post class. So I guess we did need that post instantiation after all. So let me go to likes at the top here, and that's where we're going to instantiate it again. So maybe if I undo, oh, there we go. So post is equal to new post. There we go. And then if all this is set, then what we do is simply say post. Oh, is that so? Post get likes, and then let's give it the ID. There we go. Now we have to sanitize this content before we drop it in there. So let's go to the class itself. It's better to do it from there so that we make sure. If type is equal to post and is numeric ID, just to be sure we're not being hacked, okay, we do that. Okay, so far so good. So let me come back here, copy this, paste it there, put a comma, and then get the type and put it there as well, and like that. And so this is going to give us a result. So we're going to say likes is equal to there. Very good. So we have some results in there, hopefully. So what we need to do now is go through those results down here at the bottom and actually view them. So we'll add the PHP tags at the bottom here, close the tags, and then we'll use a for each loop so that it loops throughout the whole array. So but before we do that, we must confirm. Let's go at the top here, just in case none of this goes through. We should have this variable like in existence at the very top here. So we're going to say likes is equal to false. We're just going to set it to false and then come down here. So what I'm doing here is that we are setting it to false, and then since there are some if statements here, it's possible it won't pass through here, which means at least the likes variable will still exist, but it will be equal to false. However, if it comes through here, it's going to be replaced with some data. So let me go down here and ask the question, is it not false? So we're going to say if is array. We want to see, make sure it's an array, likes, so that we don't get some errors. So if it is indeed an array, let's go with the for each loop and loop through likes, like so. Now we don't need the key because the key numbers are just 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, completely insignificant, and we're just going to give row. So each like is actually a row because it contains the date and the user ID of the user at that point. Okay, now in the post classes here, since we only have the user ID, we can't really display that information. We need to get more details on those users. So we are going to say get one post. This is not what we need. We need the users class over here, the user class, because this is the one that gets the user. So get user with an ID there. Okay, so get user is our friend. So let's go to the likes.php again. So at this point, because the row is going to contain some data, so let's print readable what's inside the row so that we see what data we're actually getting before we go any further. And as usual, I'm going to echo some pre-tags so that the data is nice and clean to look at or easily readable, right? So let me go back here and refresh. So this is what we are getting. So here we are seeing that there are two arrays. There's one array here and then there's another array here. So in this one we have the user ID of who liked and when they liked. Very good. User ID and when they liked. So we have to turn this into something like this section right here. Okay. Now, of course, what's showing here on friends is the file user.php right there. So that's the file we should include when we have the correct data. So in order to know what it needs, what its needs are, let's include it right here and see it fail with errors so that we can correct those errors. So I'm just going to say include that file, which is what's the file? user.php, something like so. So let's go back to one other. Boom. And we have all these errors, which is very good. So what it's looking for is friend row. Okay, that's what we called it. So that's what we should give us. We should give it, and it seems that will sort the problem because that's the only variable being looked for. All right. So friend row is what we will call it. So we will say. So let me at the top here before the loop so that we don't, it's not very good to put instantiations of classes inside loops because every time it has to create the class, it wastes time. So we're going to do it at the top here and we're going to say user, like so, is equal to new user class, like so. Something like that. So this is just a variable which you can use anything there. So once we instantiate, we come down here and get the details and say user get user. I think that's the function, and then it requires an ID. So of course we're going to get the ID from this row right here. Row, it's called user ID, isn't it? Yes, it is. But then this will return something. Now we're going to use this variable so that the file we included can use that and shut up about these errors, like that. And I forgot the $sign. So let's see if everything is working well. We have one person there, which is very good. So undefined variable image class. So of course the image class as well is missing. So let's instantiate that one. So it's called image class, is it? Yes. So let's copy that very nicely and put it here. New image. That's where it can give us some nice thumbnails. Line 150, unexpected equal sign. So there we go. Okay, that's because we missed our $sign. My bad. Refresh, and voila, what do you know, it's working. Unfortunately, the line here is not going down here, and I think I know why. Let me go here. Let's put a break tag at the very end here. We're going to have a break tag, but I don't think this will solve the problem. So what we need to do is to tell the break tag to clear the floating. So we're going to say style clear both. And then if I go back, there we go. Okay, So this is how you can tell people, but if you want these guys to float to the other side, to be in line like this, we can do the formatting if you want very quickly. Let me go to the user.php, and where is that? Okay, so this div id friends, oh, I see what's happening here. Okay, so it's bringing in the div itself with an ID of friends at the top here. But to simplify things, what we can do is just add a style here and say display inline block. There we go.